I see some names trickling in here. How's everybody doing? We've got 104 people registered for this. Welcome, guys. I know we're a little bit early. We're going to give some people a little bit of time to trickle in. But thank you for joining me. For those of you who just got in the room, you see a chat box. This is going to be an interactive webinar, so let me know if you can, number one, hear my voice. Number two, see my screen. It should be the opening slide that says, thanks for joining. So go ahead and comment in the chat box if that is a-okay and you can see everything and hear everything okay. Please let me know so that we can keep on waiting for the rest of us to join, but also just want to make sure that all of the sound levels are up, that you guys can hear me loud and clear, and that everything is kind of up and running. We're about 5 minutes out for those of you who came in just now. I see numbers pouring in, which I love to see this. This is very exciting stuff. If you're in here already, we're going to wait a little bit to get started. We've got about 5 minutes before 8 p.m. Eastern time here in Philadelphia. But I want you to think about something for me throughout this webinar. Don't answer it yet because we're going to touch on it later, but think about what's preventing you from achieving your freelance goals. While we get started here, you're probably sitting here because you saw the banner ad, or you saw some form, some way to register for this, and it spoke to you because you want to start freelancing. You want to change your career. You want to allow yourself to achieve more potential and realize that potential and start really creating your own work for yourself. But something's been holding you back. So think about what that is. Gammy, thank you for responding. Michael can hear me as well as see the slide. Ian is all good. So it sounds like you guys can see everything, which is fantastic. Thanks for letting me know. Where are you guys coming in from? Where's everybody from here? Why don't you type that in the box as well so I know where you are. I'm here in Philadelphia. It's a beautiful day today. So last time I did this webinar, we had people from all over the world. We had Australia, we had Africa, we had all types of countries in Europe. We had, from the East Coast to the West Coast of the United States. It was amazing. So I'm excited to see that same level of diversity here. So we're about 3 minutes out. We're going to give it a little bit more time. Thank you for joining. Also, if you guys know anybody else who might benefit from this webinar, feel free to share the link to this Hangout. We're trying to get everybody on who needs it, everybody who might benefit from this. Share the link out. Let them know this is for everybody. This is for photographers, designers, any type of creative freelancer who's looking to increase their business effectiveness. And really, we got a New Zealander here. We got a Kiwi. Awesome. Welcome, Ian. Amazing. We've got Texas. We've got New Zealand. We're all over the place. This is fantastic, guys. Listen, Michael, Ian, everybody, Gammy, if you feel the need to share this link, if you know anybody else who might benefit from this, share it out. We're still going to give it about 3 more minutes before we really get started. But you guys will all see a question that's posted up there. What's preventing you from achieving your freelance goals? Think about that. You don't have to answer right now, but keep it in the back of your head as we move through this. It's just going to help you really, really think about the way you're doing your business and trying to go out and get those clients and get those leads and generate more work for yourself. It's going to help you to think about what's preventing you from doing that. Kia ora. All right. So I'm just going to keep talking. For those of you who have been in here for a couple minutes now, you're going to hear me repeat myself, but it's just to let everybody else who's just joined us know that I am here, I am active, I am just killing time before the 8 p.m. start time because I want to give everybody a chance to get in. I don't want to start before everybody's ready because I did say 8 p.m. So for those of you who have joined, we've got 104 people registered to be on here tonight joining with us. So this is going to be an exciting conversation. This is an interactive webinar. So there's a chat box. I can see your comments. You can hear my voice, so we can be talking to each other. If you have any questions throughout, feel free to let me know. Gammy, Lancaster where? We've got Lancaster in the house. I grew up near Lancaster in Pennsylvania. Man, these names are pouring in. Welcome, everybody. Amazing attendance rate tonight. This is fantastic. Guys, feel free to share this link, tweet it out, include me in the tweet. Trying to get everybody on here, everybody who would benefit from this, all your freelance colleagues, your former former coworkers, former friends from college, from design school, anybody who might benefit from this material is welcome on this webinar tonight. Lancaster, PA, welcome. We're going to get started here in 1 minute. We'll give about 30 more seconds for people to trickle in. There'll probably be some late arrivals. There'll probably be some people who miss it all altogether. But also, I should note that there will be a replay of this. So for those of you who aren't able to stick around for the full thing, there will be a replay, but only for a limited time. It'll only be up for 24 hours, so try to stick around. So all right, we are at 8 p.m. We are at the start time, which means we are going to dive right in head first, get this ball rolling. Welcome to this webinar, a free live training for you guys to discover your hidden freelance potential. Being here is a huge step in the right direction. And I want to explain what my ultimate goal is. In doing this webinar, in doing what I'm doing, in promoting this message to you, my goal is to bring 100,000 creative freelancers together and expose them to the people and resources that they need to generate endless client leads and income and build sustainable freelance businesses. So who am I? For those of you who don't know who I am a freelance designer and art director based in Philadelphia, PA. I've held jobs all over the country. I've been a motion graphics designer in Los Angeles, a product graphic designer up in New England for a major apparel brand. I've been an internationally recognized poster designer, as well as worked at 4 major ad agencies in the Philadelphia and New York City area, both in a full-time and a freelance capacity. I've been a visual and interaction design consultant for several global software development companies, a contributing author to major design blogs and publications, but most importantly, like many of you, I am a full-time freelancer, and that's what's bringing us all here together today. Anna, hello there in Carlsbad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. On today's free webinar, guys, I'm going to teach you how I got where I am today, which is to be a full-time sustainable freelance, running my business for almost 3 years now, after quitting a steady full-time agency job with no natural network to immerse myself into, with no business experience, with no plan, really. I had no plan, but I went from that uncertainty to turning my business and my freelance business into almost over $10,000 a month in a very short period of time. And I'm going to give you the step-by-step process and show you how you can too, no matter what creative field you're in. And no pun intended with that background image there. This webinar is going to show you how to quickly generate more leads and start earning thousands more per month in your freelance business. And it will give you the confidence and knowledge that you need to thrive on your own. Because if I can start from absolute nothing, absolute scratch with no context, you can easily do the same. But I only have 60 minutes to plow through this, and it's going to be a lot of content. It's going to be a lot of information for you guys. So get your notebooks out, because by the end of this presentation, you'll know exactly what you need to be doing, not only to generate more leads, but how to consistently convert them into paying customers, which is the goal. A lead is one thing, but converting them is another. That's where you need to improve. And that's hopefully why you're all here. Plus, if you stick around long enough, we have added bonuses only offered to folks on this webinar. So feel free to jump for joy. But before we get started, a little bit of house cleaning. How many of you think I'm going to try to sell you something at the end of this? And if you're thinking I'm going to, then I would say your answer is right. For those of you who feel that you've gotten a lot out of this training, I will have an amazing opportunity for you at the end. We're not going to touch that for the next hour, though. And you are 100% free to ignore the offer, call me names, commit slanderous acts in the chat box. It doesn't hurt my feelings. But I'm still going to be giving you 60 minutes of free information right now, starting right now, because I want you to realize your freelance potential and really what you can do with your business that will make you so much happier, so much more creative, and so much more inspired every morning when you wake up. So for those of you who are still here, welcome once again. We've got folks from all over the world. We've got East Coast to West Coast of the United States, Argentina. We've got Kiwis from New Zealand. We've got folks from all over the world ready to learn, ready to kickstart their freelance businesses. So let's start off with this question. How many of you love the idea of freelancing but are nervous that you won't be able to find enough work to sustain yourself? How many of you can relate to that? I know that I can, and it was one of my biggest fears growing up, and it's one of the most common fears among freelancers worldwide. We want to work for ourselves, but then looking for work, the act of looking for that work becomes a full-time job in and of itself. And don't you wish you didn't have to worry about where your next job is coming from? Through years of navigating the freelance scene, guys, I've experienced uncertainty. I've experienced the notion of not knowing where my next paycheck is coming from. And I understand it's terrifying. It's very, very scary to not know how you're going to be keeping your head above the water. But I've discovered a secret to avoiding that. And it's led me to wake up every morning and read emails similar to this one, which is where I'll be contacted by a former colleague or friend of mine from design school, says, she knows a company who's looking for design contractors, and there's required travel to Europe. Am I interested in talking to that person, talking to that hiring manager, talking to that creative director? And my answer is yes, of course. And the point is, I didn't have to solicit that. That landed in my inbox. That was drawn to me automatically. So can you imagine how much time that would save for you if you received those types of emails every morning and didn't have to go out and worry about where your next job is coming from? And I'm not showing you this to show off or brag. I'm doing it to prove that there are ways to automate this process so that you never have to look for another job again. And I'm not only going to show you how to turn yourself into a lead magnet, but I'm going to teach you how to convert those leads into high-paying clients. So, oh, and I love this. You're most anxious about consistent work. That's exactly why I'm here too. That's exactly why I'm trying to teach you guys this method. So let's go through the agenda. Today, I'm going to talk about the freelance struggle and how to avoid common mistakes as a freelancer. Secondly, I'm going to talk about why now is the best time in history to start freelancing. Then we're going to go through 3 creative self-starters who are absolutely killing it. These are folks that I know personally who are absolutely making a huge impact in their respective creative industries, and they're super inspiring, and I can't wait to share with you their success stories. And fourth, we're going to talk about the 5 critical success factors of any freelance business, the 5 things that you need to start doing now and start improving if you are already doing a few of them. We're going to talk about what those things are and how to master them. Then we're going to talk about the one thing that you could start doing today that will help you rapidly increase your job leads, which will take away that anxiety and which will take away all those feelings of uncertainty. We're going to teach you how to increase your job leads overnight. And then at the end, we're going to wrap it up with an open Q&A. If you guys have any questions or answers, we'll have a dedicated time slot at the end for us to go over any of those. So let's begin with my story in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I'm sitting now, where I moved in 2011 to fulfill my lifelong goal, which was to land a gig at a big-time ad agency. Just like Mr. Don Draper, this was my idol. This was my ideal lifestyle back in 2011. And I did that. I landed that job, and I got into the office immersed in this ad agency life, drinking craft beers, going to happy hours, riding fixed gear bicycles to work, sipping on lattes. And for a moment, I thought I was living the dream. I thought I had made it with this smirky grin on my face, just like this gentleman right here, Mr. Will Ferrell. But several years in, I realized something. I realized that I wasn't really learning, and I wasn't really growing or developing my portfolio. I was doing the same thing that everybody else was doing. Day in and day out, monotony became my consistent thing that I did every day, the same thing, and it became so boring. I felt overworked, I felt underpaid, I felt under-inspired. I got the same work sliding across my table every day, and this political cartoon, I think, summarizes it up perfectly, where the man says, as a supervisor myself, Edna, I admire your ability to compartmentalize. But I was one of the people sitting in the background in my cubicle, my little gray desk, not able to, collaborate, not able to do anything innovative. But I was just doing the same pattern every day, and it felt very boring. And I realized, how can I call myself a creative if that is my regular every day? How can I thrive in a creative environment like that? And I know that a lot of you are here because you feel that same way. Whatever your job may be right now, whether you're just trying to get into freelancing or you've been doing it, or whether you're sitting at an agency desk or a corporate office and you don't feel inspired. You call yourself a creative individual, but you're not being shown the outlet to express that. That's what we're trying to solve. So what did I do to fix that? I quit my job cold turkey. It was a huge risk. And I'm not trying to say that all agencies and corporations are bad. I'm trying to emphasize the fact that if we aren't learning, we aren't growing, and we need to pay attention to that. So I quit, and I cleaned out my desk, and I forced myself into the next phase of my life, which was freelancing. And I developed this freelancing to-do list, right? Everybody goes through this. I rebuilt my portfolio site. I checked LinkedIn, job boards. I rewrote my resume. I redesigned my resume. As a graphic designer, I felt like that was important, and it is. I rebuilt my portfolio site again, thinking the first rebuild wasn't good enough. I checked LinkedIn and Odisk and Monster and Coraflow and AIGA, trying to find work, and I did all of those things except land one gig. I didn't land one gig for weeks. I lived off of my meager savings and watched my bank account diminish week by week. And the few leads that I did manage to generate were not the type of quality I was after, and they didn't pay nearly the amount that I needed to get by. And I realized at this point I was spending all of my time looking for work and no time actually doing work that was going to sustain my business. And this was not going to be sustainable for me. So I had to reevaluate, right? I tried another method. Instead of focusing on sending cold emails, applying to high traffic design job boards, staring at my phone, waiting for jobs to come in, I shifted my focus to something else, which was people and connections and that human interaction that people crave. Instead of applying for open positions, I would reach out to companies who weren't hiring, individuals who didn't need me at the time. And it seems counterproductive, but it's actually highly effective. And it's one of the most important things that I want to instill upon you today. The reason for this is simple. When you reach out knowing that there is no available space for you with that individual or with that company, they're receiving less traffic, and it seems more genuine. It seems like a more genuine interest on your part because they can tell that they obviously don't have anything for you, but you are taking the extra step to meet them and introduce yourself. And that's what's important to people. I would do my research about this individual or this company. I would congratulate them on recent successes or business wins or changes in the organization that I admired. And I would let them know a little bit about myself and what I did. The conversation, it was a quick conversation, but once I started focusing on these positive interpersonal connections in my network, I started to notice a change. And that is that not only did I start generating more leads, drastically more leads, but the quality of those leads started to improve. And why? Because I was being referred to my clients by people who they knew and trusted. I found that clients are much less skeptical of you if you're being referred to by a human being instead of a job board. So when I sat down and met with somebody who worked at an organization that I admired, when a need came up, they would go back to that organization and say, hey, I know a guy who ... And that referral came from a known and trusted source instead of a high traffic job board. And that is called planting the seeds. And that's what you need to be doing. And after landing that first job, I was able to leverage that client relationship into new referrals. And I soon began signing multiple contracts with fantastic companies and individuals. And as a result, I was able to increase my rates quickly. And I had more opportunities that I knew what to do with. For example, this email that we looked at earlier, this was a woman that I used to work with in a freelance capacity at an organization that I really admired and still do today. She reached out to me after I had left my contract with that company about 6 months prior to this email. Then her friend who used to work at this company had gone to another company, but they remained friends. And there was a need at that new company for a freelancer like myself. So she reached out to me and said, I have a contract opportunity. It's about 6 months long. Are you interested in having a conversation? And of course, I said, hell yeah, there's required travel to Europe. It sounds fantastic. So a month after I received that email, I was standing in London giving a design presentation. I did not have to apply for this job. I hardly even had to interview for this job because the man who hired me trusted this woman who knew me so much that he knew and trusted what I was going to bring to the table. And he hired me within a week and sent me to London on a plane on the company's dime within a month. And it was an unbelievable opportunity for me to expand my reach and my network overseas and meet amazing new people and get into new challenges. It was just a fantastic opportunity. I'm still working with that client today, and I've actually gotten a million new friends out of it. It's just been great. So when I'm wrapped up with this project, I'll ask that company to keep me in mind for future work, or refer me to someone else if they feel they've done a good job. So do you feel like your clients will get upset if they find out that you're also working for other people? Do you feel like you need to hide that from them as freelancers? A lot of freelancers are worried about this. They're worried about, if I go into work for one client and I have to step aside for 3 hours to take a call with another client, do you think that you need to be discreet about that. But the answer is no, and I'll tell you why it's an outdated thought. Because Forbes has published articles, actually, let me back up, countless publications have released articles that predicts that the freelance economy in 2015 is going to be super, super powerful. Clients are preparing to spend tens of millions of dollars each year on contract labor. Big companies are recognizing the need to prepare for a large wave of freelancers. So should you feel guilty about working for multiple companies at the same time? And the answer is absolutely not, because 53 million freelancers are currently working today. Since 2013, 57% of those freelancers reported an increase in earnings by working for themselves. Almost 20% of them have more than doubled their income within the first year alone. Freelancing, guys, provides more potential for earning, learning, and growing. You will learn so much more, so much quicker, and you will grow so much faster than you ever thought possible, because you're challenging yourself and you're taking that risk that not a lot of people are starting to do yet. The work is out there. You just have to know how to network and promote yourself effectively, because the size of your network will equal the amount of the leads that you generate. And freelancers with a smaller network will have to spend 50% of their time trying to find new work, while freelancers with a larger network will be using that time landing clients and getting paid. Can you imagine for a second if you woke up every day and had multiple work opportunities waiting in your inbox for you? How might it change you? How might your business change? How might it change your life? The better you get at effectively expanding your network, the more quality leads you will start to generate. And here are 3 examples of people who have done just that. The first being my friend Katie, who I used to work with up in New England at the apparel design company. She was a fashion illustrator. She designed women's apparel for this company, but she always had a strong passion for watercolor and illustration. She went on to leave that company and found paperfashion.net because she followed her ambition of, she loved spending time with watercolor, with her paintbrush to the paper, and creating those beautiful illustrative drawings and renderings of fashion and dresses and jewelry and stuff that looks like this. And Katie has individual clients that she's found on her own, like Disney and Lacoste and big names like that, and Coach and Saks Fifth Avenue. Katie has 479,000 plus people following her on Instagram, commending her on her work. And her network is gigantic, and she's so passionate about what she does, and it's been amazing to watch her transition from that full-time job where we both used to work to doing what she's doing today. Danny Margulies is another guy, copywriter and content marketer. Danny used to work in a corporate office where he felt completely uninspired every day, and he wasn't even a copywriter by profession. He did something completely unrelated, and he told me that when he left his job, he literally went home and Googled how to make money online, and he landed on elance.com. And he, in the first 12 months of deciding to become a freelance copywriter, something he'd never done before, managed to pull $113,000 in his first 12 months. And most of that happened during the last 6 months. But he did that because, if you notice, he has 5 stars across the board. He's got a 100% recommend rate. It means that people who worked with Danny, he focused on leveraging the review system that was baked into that Elance platform. If any of you have ever used Elance, they have a review system. Do not take it for granted. Always ask for a referral. Always ask for a review, because that's what people trust. They trust people who have worked, clients who have worked with you before, and they look at that rating first. Another guy, Preston, founder of Millo.co, a blog which I am a guest author for. He's a designer turned blogger and content marketer, and he's focused on establishing online connections through his blog, of which he has over 20,000 subscribed readers every month looking at the information that he's putting out. He loves connecting. He's an amazing guy that I've connected with recently, and he's just a super inspiring guy. When you hear his point of view on how important a network is, it changes your perspective on how you operate your business. So what do they have that you don't? Well, obviously they have those huge networks, and as a result, they're able to dedicate 100% of their time to paying projects and little to no time trying to find new work. Danny has said, I first realized my success when I no longer had to seek out my gigs and they started to find me. But listen, generating a large volume of leads is only half the problem, right? This all sounds great. Have a big network, get more leads. Fantastic. That just makes sense. But that's only half of the problem, because 100 leads does not equal 100 paying clients. That's just not the way it works. You need to know how to convert them effectively. And there is a 5-step process that you need to follow in order to do so. And that's what we're going to get into right now. This is the training portion of the webinar. Get out your pen and paper, take some notes, because this is going to be a lot of information that's going to come at you very quickly so that we stay under our 60-minute mark. But there is a 5-step process, guys, that you need to follow in order to convert those leads into paying clients, in order to convert those prospects into paychecks. That's the trick. That's what we're all here to learn how to do, and that's what I'm going to teach you right now. And the first step of this whole process, going back to the anxiety thing, Ian, you talked about how your anxiety gets to you because you don't know where your next paycheck's going to come from, right? So that's the mindset. You can't let that get to you, because self-doubt will be a success repellent if you let it be. You need to understand your runway. If you're just starting out as a freelancer, you need to establish your minimum success factor. It's easy to think, great, I could potentially make $10,000 a month as a freelancer. Sure, that's absolutely possible, and that's been done millions of times. But figure out what you need first, because if you set that bar too high too early, you're going to fall flat on your face. You're not going to reach it. You're going to get discouraged, and then you're going to lose momentum, and that's not what we want. Set your milestones. Keep track of how much you need to spend each month, and use that to establish what you need to make in order to get by. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen, right? The worst, obviously, that could happen is that you make $0 in a month. But I think all of us are smart enough that we will find a way to at least make enough to get by. So that's the first step, is understanding that minimum success factor. And that's what you will use as a departure point to increase your earnings, increase your rates, pivot off of corrections that you need to make along the way, and just pay attention to that. The next step is self-promotion. You need to master the art of clarity. It's easy for a creative, and I'm guilty of this too, to be a jack of all trades. But in the freelance world, ambiguity is your enemy. You need to take a step back and evaluate yourself and what you have to offer, then get specific. You need to revise your resume, your website, and your portfolio, and you need to really cater to the type of leads that you want to be attracting. Don't use buzzwords. You need to be specific about what you do. If you're an illustrator, what kind of illustrator are you? If you're a web designer, what types of industries do you work in? What types of websites have you worked on in the past? For example, this is how I craft my resume, and I've got over 500 connections. I get new connection requests every day from industries that I'm really interested in working in. And it's because I break my resume and my summary and my LinkedIn page down into 7 main categories. First, I give a high-level overview of what I do, right? I'm a freelance web and user interface designer with a strong focus on interaction design. And then I talk about the types of the general projects that I've worked on in the past. Then I go on to talk about the industries that I worked in. So in Philadelphia, there's a huge pharmaceutical industry, and that's where I like to spend my time because I think it's very interesting. So I advertise myself as a web designer in the pharmaceutical and healthcare marketing space, which obviously leaves very specific companies for me to attract. Then I highlight, after I've specified the industries, I highlight specific clients that I've worked for in the past, and then maybe other relevant accomplishments within that industry. After you establish all that, then you describe briefly what you're looking for. And then after that, you give a list of specific skills so that when a person lands on your resume, it doesn't say freelance graphic designer. It doesn't say freelance website designer. Mine says freelance web designer and creative consultant. But then it goes on to describe exactly what type of projects, what type of clients, what type of industries I'm interested in. And then it lists exactly the skills that I can bring to the table. So if this person lands on my website and they see that I'm not the right person for the job, they won't email me, and I won't have to deal with reading their lengthy email and trying to filter out those bad leads. Once you start generating the types of leads you want, then it gets really in depth here for the proposals and pricing structure. How do you establish your rate? How do you draft a proposal that blows the client out of the water? Because this is the first point of engagement, when the client reaches out to you and says, I'm interested in you. Okay, congratulations. At this point, you've made it so that the client has chosen to talk to you over anybody else. Over the hundreds of different resumes they've chosen to look at, you're the one that they decided to get in touch with. So how do you deliver more than just a quote, more than just a number? If they ask you for a quote, how much is this going to cost? How much will it cost us to hire you for this project? And this is your first chance to wow the customer. So really pay attention to this portion. When you draft a quote to a client, when you draft a proposal, You can't just give them a number, because a million people have given them numbers, and you need to deliver more than that. You need to wow them. And there's a 3-step process to this. The first is you need to establish a project summary, right? Offer the client a free consultation, give them a call and just get to know them, understand what their needs are, understand why they called you, understand and ask them, why do you think, what attracted you to me? Why do you think I would be a good person in this job? Then ask them about the type of project that they have on hand. Assess their goals, understand what they're trying to get accomplished, and then use that to break it down into a summary of the client's needs. So after you've had that half an hour long free consultation with them, you're going to draft them up in written form, a summary of their needs based on the conversation you had with them, and a description of your service. And you're going to connect those threads back and forth to say, this is your need, this is my service, and this is how I can help you accomplish your need with my service. Section 2, and that's the first part of the proposal. Section 2 of the proposal will be the scope of services. So this is where you break it down into phases. How is this working relationship going to work? Sure, if you need a website design, I'm not going to just say, I'll design you a website. There is a lot that goes into that, and as there is in any creative thinking process. So maybe you break it down into phases. I like to break it down into 3 phases, the first being concept and ideation. So you work with the client, you make it feel very collaborative. Your product isn't the design, it's the idea of the design. The design is the vehicle that drives your idea. So work with the client, understand what their design sense is, understand what they react positively to, what they react negatively to. And that's what's going to be the collaborative aspect that's going to keep them engaged and keep them also on the same page and in tune with what you're doing. And that should be about 20% of the time, because phase 2 is the actual design. This section of the proposal will be spent saying, what are you going to be doing? This is where the bulk of your work will be done. It's where you get into your creative zone and start doing the part of the project that you were ultimately hired for, which is creating a design for the client to look at. Maybe if it's a website design, I'm using this as an example. If it's a website design, show them 3 different directions, have them choose one, then blow out all the pages in using that format that they chose and reacted positively to. And then when you're done, show it to them, and maybe phase 3 is the revision. So if obviously design is a subjective medium, people have different opinions, they have different ideas. So phase 3, say, okay, 10% of the time will be dedicated to me working with you, showing you what we've done together, and then we can make revisions where needed. And that makes them feel like they're very much a part of the process. And then lastly, give them an overview of the deliverables. So when you're finished with the project, this helps establish an endpoint, because nobody likes when a design project keeps lingering on because the client keeps having new ideas and wants to see different versions of different things. Set a definite endpoint and give an overview of the deliverables. For this, I'll deliver you a layered PSD and some HTML for you to use to give the developer. And that's it. This definitely establish an endpoint, or else your projects will linger on and they'll ring you out for less than you should be charging, and it just gets to be an uncomfortable situation. So make sure you establish that endpoint. Then section 3, after all of that, the project summary, the description of the phases, section 3 is where you give the number, because this is where you're able to break it down and say, of the 3 phases that I just described, the conception, the design, the revisions, here's my rate for each of those phases. Here's the number of hours that I expect to spend in each of those phases, and then here's the total that it's going to cost based on what we just described in those different phases. And sure, okay, $7,500. At the beginning, you could say, sure, this is going to cost you $7,500, client. They'll be like, wow, where is that number coming from? So make sure you break it down and deliver the process to them. Make them understand what it's going to be like to work with you, because then it'll soften the blow and it'll make it easier for them to understand the rate that you arrived at. This process can be applied not just to web design, obviously, but for any kind of creative process. You can follow that same template. Once you land the client, maybe you land multiple clients. Maybe you're generating so many leads and converting so many clients that you have 6 on your table. So then it becomes very important to stay organized and make sure you stay consistent. If you set milestones with the client, make sure you keep them. Deliver quality work. Always deliver quality work, but that's only half of it, because a client will be more likely to refer you to a friend if they felt positively about the experience, right? And then you got to make sure that after you locked in managing the different clients, you need to make sure that you're becoming very in tune with your network. Never leave a project without asking for a referral. Ask this is because this is where you can get positive feedback or negative constructive feedback from the client. Say, what did I do good? What did I do well? What could I have improved? What could have been a better experience for you? And make sure that you ask them that. Have that follow up with them. Ask them what they liked, what they didn't like. And then after you've established that, it makes them feel like you're really dedicated to delivering them 100% effort. They really make them feel like you put them first, because when they feel like that, they'll be more likely to refer you to a friend, which is what you're ultimately going to want them to do, or hire you again in the future. So this is a very, very crucial part. Never leave a project without asking for a referral. Once you land your first client and you start repeating this 5-step process, it gets a lot of momentum. It's like a snowball going down the hill. You'll pick up more clients. You'll pick up repeating clients. Maybe you'll work for the same client again in a year, in 6 months, in 3 months. Maybe they'll hire you long-term to work as in a freelance or consulting capacity to do the work for them. But it starts to become very seamless, right? Because then you're not going out and trying to find people to reintroduce yourself to. You're working for somebody who's talking about you. You're creating buzz. They're telling their friends. They're helping you along. And that's what the goal is. The more often you repeat that cycle, the bigger and stronger your business will grow. And I wish I could go into more detail. I realize that this was very high level right now, but we only have so much time. We're about 36 minutes in. But focusing on those 5 areas will help you avoid early freelancing mistakes. It'll help you create the perfect freelance business model. It'll help you stand out from the competition and automate your lead generation process. Most importantly, it'll save you valuable time. So let me ask you a question. Are you all keeping up so far? I hope this is all making sense. I hope this is helpful. I hope that was very helpful for you. But let me ask again, at the beginning of this webinar, I asked you, what's holding you back from exploring your freelance potential? And this is where I want to hear from you. What's holding you back? What's the number one thing the number one reason why you haven't, stepped out of your comfort zone? Why are you going to work in the morning, not feeling inspired, not feeling like you want to be there? What's holding you back? For me, it's the anxiety and not knowing where to turn for my next project. Ian gets it. Ignacio gets it. Ignacio, welcome from Argentina. This is amazing to have you on. I hope this made sense to you, Gami, Michael. Hopefully, we all understand that freelancing is more than just being creative. It's being a master of your craft, but it's also being a master of people's minds and understanding what their needs are. Because ultimately, it's your business. This is your business, and people have to be able to communicate effectively. They have to be able to understand each other. So if you've been held back, or if you haven't taken the risk because you feel anxiety and uncertainty, that's easily solvable. If you know the right people, and if you talk to other freelancers who refer you to jobs, I've found other freelancers and colleagues I used to work with are so eager to help me out. And also collaboration is huge. So I'm a web designer, and I have a list of developers that I always use, and they're all freelancers. And I say, guys, I just got a 10,000 quote from this company, but I need a developer to help me out. So I'll go to some person in my network and say, who's available? Can you work together with me? And we've got this client for the next 3 months. And that collaboration, that collaborative environment is how it works. Then you work together, and the client loves the work you do. They refer you to their friends because you did such a nice job, and you build your network. Ian thinks not working on his network, but lacking any structured processes ineffectively landing projects from leads. So hopefully, Ian, what I just walked through would help you. That 5-step process of creating, of converting those leads. Hopefully that helps. But for a lot of us, it's time, it's limited exposure. For me, at least, it was limited exposure. I didn't know where to turn to find my next gig. I didn't know where to go. I didn't have enough time to spend looking. And it wasn't until stuff started falling in my lap that I realized what I was doing was creating this really tight-knit network of other freelancers who would share leads and really making sure that my clients, related with me on a personal level. If you've ever dreamt about controlling your career path and running your own freelance business, it's time to put that in action. If you've been hesitant, there's no excuse for that anymore. Because what I'm showing you today, guys, is a system called 5-Star Freelancers. It's something that I've been working on for the last couple months in collaboration with a lot of other really, really influential freelancers in the Philadelphia area and in the New York area. This is tools and trainings for you to put into action that will help you generate leads automatically. And if you're not worried about getting leads, it'll help you convert them. It'll show you step by step how to convert leads into paying customers and keep those clients long term. This course includes 5 hours of video training on how to do exactly that, on how to convert clients into paying customers. Collaboration, Gammy says she needs to work more on the networking. Michael's out cold calling many days a week. Michael, that's not sustainable, man. That eats your time, and it's exhausting. I know, I've been there. He's spinning his wheels, not generating quality leads. Yes, that's what I'm speaking to. Those are the things that we need to solve. How do you make sure that every conversation you have, every cold conversation that you have, how do you make sure that it's with somebody who's actually going to give you an opportunity for you to grow and contribute creatively to what their need is? This course gives you 5 hours of video training that explains how to do that effectively. It gives you lessons and worksheets and actionable homework assignments that you need to be doing day to day to help propel you forward. We also have monthly guest lectures to help come in and explain to you how they've been able to maintain the success levels that they've had, how they've mastered their freelance craft, because it's an art form in and of itself, no matter what your discipline is. If you're an illustrator or a painter or an artist or a designer, the art of business is so important, and we've got monthly guest speakers coming in and explaining to you guys the importance and giving you tips and tricks. We've also got a private discussion and mentor group, and also added bonuses at the end of this 5-week course. The training videos talk about everything that we just mentioned in the 5-step process, establishing your runway and getting into that right mindset, all the way up to, converting your clients with the perfect proposal structure, and then building your network system. It includes all of your concerns that you're telling me in the box. Crystal, you overcommit. It talks about organization, how to stay organized, how to not bite off more than you can chew. And if you do, how to hire people, how to connect with other freelancers who can help you fulfill those goals and maintain those positive client relationships. Because that's another thing, Crystal. If you overcommit and then you figure out halfway through the projects that you're unable to complete them on time, then that leads to a negative client experience. So all the work that you put in to generating those leads, to talking to those clients, if you're not able to deliver, that's going to go out the door. They're not going to hire you again, and they're not going to refer you. So that's bad too. So if you overcommit, number one, don't overcommit. But number two, if you do, these classes are going to teach you how to manage that by soliciting the help of another freelancer who's in need of work. It talks about networking. There's a mastermind community in here of people who are expert networkers, who will teach you how to navigate all of these ins and outs of networking and generating these types of leads. Guest speakers every month, as I said, will be invited and announced the week before they go on. This is also mobile friendly, guys. You don't have to be sitting at your computer doing these homeworks. This is a responsive tutorial, 5 hours worth of video courses that you can, if you're riding the subway in New York City, if you're driving in the car, you can listen to the audio version. Yes, to hiring people, right, Crystal? That's what we're all about. We're about helping freelancers because we're building our own team, and we're also helping other people out. And when we do that, we have access to their network. It's just all about the collaboration. That's how we build ourselves up, leveraging our success off of other people, other clients, other freelancers who we connect with, helping them. Don't give me a sad face, Crystal. I know. Mobile friendly, guys. You can do this on the subway. You can do this on the go. You can do this laying in bed on the couch on a Saturday morning. It's designed to guide you through these 5 most crucial parts of your freelance career. Again, the topics we cover are the mindset, the self-promotion aspect of it, how to be clear about what you do and become a magnet for that type of work that you're looking for. We talk about the pricing structure of the organization, the networking and referrals. So, okay, how is this going to help you generate more leads quickly? That's what I promised I would teach you, right? How to generate more leads quickly. And I've said it's in the network, but to drill into that a little bit more, the 5-Star Freelancers community exists in LinkedIn in pools of designers and photographers and copywriters and bloggers and developers, all in there as freelancers looking for more work, eager to connect, eager to take their freelance careers to the next level, and eager to connect with you, Crystal. When you bite off more than you can chew and you need another design hand, you go into this bucket right here. You go into this list of designers who are all eager and looking for work to connect and collaborate and create new work with them. It's a diverse group of highly focused individuals who can all cross-pollinate and create some amazing collaborative projects with you. So if you find yourself in over your head with your clients and you need hands, you need help, this is where you go, not only to find the help, but to find the support. If you're feeling lost, Ian, and you feel anxious about where your next paycheck is coming from, and you don't know how to say, you go into, if you're a designer, you got a quote, you got a lead that you need to deliver a quote for, and you don't know how to craft it. Go ask the opinions of other designers, other people who are in here who have done it before, who have been freelancer for maybe 15 or 20 years, who can explain to you exactly how to do it. If you haven't learned it from the course, this is where you go to talk to people who help you along the way. This is such an open group of people who are willing to help yourselves improve and move forward. Of course, I'm going to make you an offer. Is there a money-back guarantee should you decide that this is the right opportunity for you? Of course, there's a money-back guarantee. If you go through this course for 60 days, I will give you your money back. If you feel like you haven't been helped at all, if you feel like you're not getting anything out of this course, if you feel like you're still in the same place that you've always been in, I'm not offended. I want to help you. That's my number one objective. I still want to stay in touch. If you don't feel it's helping you, let me know what didn't help you. Let me know what problems you're still having. Send me completed homework. This, like I said, each video course comes with a homework assignment, and the 3 emails that you've sent to prospects, and we'll review them together. I'll be able to look at it, tell you what you've done wrong, and if you're not convinced that I'm helpful, I will refund you 100%, no questions asked. Okay, so maybe, Crystal, you're still not convinced. Michael, you're not convinced. Ian, Gammy, none of you guys are convinced. Okay, let me just give an example of the type of content that's going to be in these courses. This is an article that I wrote for Millo.com, my 3-step guide to client pitches that convert like crazy. Ian, you might be interested in this. It's the same content that we just went over, but this is how the audience reacted when it was posted. This came in time for morning pitch meeting. He feels stronger heading into the meeting. He walked into the meeting just by reading the 4 or 5 paragraphs that I talked about at a very high level of how to deliver a pitch effectively and be confident about it. Just by reading that, he feels stronger walking into a morning meeting. He's hyped up on coffee. He's ready to go. He has clear mind, and he's ready to walk in there confidently. And clients react to that. Let me tell you, clients react to positive and confidence. Sean says, really great piece. He's been freelancing for about 15 years, but he let those skills get rusty. He's been working with a lot of the same clients, so he's been putting proposals to the side because he hasn't needed to deliver them because he's had a pool of consistent clients. But he said this was a nice refresher, so he thanked me for that. Danette says, OMG, this is just what she needed. She's really taken it into effect. She's bookmarking this article. She's spending the next week's morning hours to implement it, and she thanks me for the content. This is the kind of reaction that I love to see. People who are inspired and helped. Krista loves Millo. I love Millo too. It's a great publication. Preston's a great dude, and it's just a really amazing blog and really helpful. So no matter what phase of your freelancing business you're in, there's always room to learn, and these courses are designed to hold you accountable for that. So how will this help generate revenue quickly? This is where the bonus giveaway comes in. For those of you who stuck around this long, you're about to have an amazing opportunity because if you're one of the first 100 people to join, I will pay you to grow your own network. Yeah, I'll pay you to grow your own network. Network, as we know, as we understand now, network is the most important thing. Having an effective network to find those leads, to collaborate with, to hire new talent within your network. I will pay you to meet those people because if you're one of the first 100 members, you'll be given your own unique sales page for this course, much like the one that you're looking at right now, meaning you use that to refer new freelancers, people in your network that you have right now in your existing network. You will receive $148 for every additional freelancer you recruit to join this powerful network, to join this one right here, 5-star freelancers. This is a collaboration of everyone's networks. It's a it's got huge momentum. And it's going to grow so big, I can't even explain to you guys how big this is going to be. But if you recruit one member, even one, it's almost $150 in your back pocket. 2 members is $297. 10 is almost $1,550. Is $7,500 in your back pocket in additional income. So this is passive income every month to support your freelance endeavors, to support your freelance efforts. So if you're worried about landing clients and converting them to paying customers, this membership affiliate system gives you a cushion while you experiment, while you go out and try to find those new clients. You'll have passive revenue coming in just by building your own network through 5-star freelancers. it's the cushion that you need. It buys you time and it gives you extra income. Not to mention the hundreds of new creatives you'll be meeting each month who will draw more opportunities to generate more leads. So let me break it down again. Here's what you get: highly actionable instructional videos, 5 hours worth of video content. Stuff like this sells for $997 to $1,000. It's unbelievably expensive content. Monthly guest speakers. Some of these people that we're going to have on charge $1,500 per lecture, per hour. That translates to $1,500 per hour of lecture that you're getting baked into this course. You're getting highly actionable homework and lesson plans that you'll be completing each week and reviewing with each other, and it'll keep you accountable. That's equivalent to having a career coach guiding you along. You'll get a private discussion group and support system. Some of them charge $100 a month to be a part of. You'll get access to private job boards on LinkedIn and product promotions for a $500 value. And you'll become an affiliate if you're one of the first 100 members, which means unlimited passive income potential for life. Personally, I've spent over $1,500 on software alone to deliver this message to you today. All the webinar software, the email management content, the hosting of the website, 5starfreelancers.com. The total value of this course is $9,500, almost $10,000 worth of value. But before you react, I'm not charging nearly that amount. I'm charging a fraction of that amount. When this launches, memberships will sell for $397. But we're in the pre-launch phase, which means that you guys, of those of you, of the 104 who were left sitting here getting excited about this, you're getting this for $100 off just by being on this webinar and getting excited about it. So this is the limited pre-sale price of $297 for you to get paid to grow your network and learn how to become an independent 5-star freelancer by connecting with all of the other freelancers and learning how to master your craft in the freelance space and really generating that buzz that you need. And this is the link down here. If you excuse the window right now, I'm going to go escape from this and trigger the pop-up right now so that you can look at the link. Load. Let me know if that pops up for you guys. Can we all see the offer link? If you can't see the offer link pop up, it should be a button. If you can't see it, just go to members.5starfreelancers.com. I'll type it into the comment box so that you can see. But if anybody has any questions, let's open it up to a Q&A right now. Let's open it up to a Q&A right now. If anybody has any questions, let me know. In the meantime, typing in the link for you all to access, and you can view the checkout page and see if this might be for you. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody not understand what we talked about? Has everybody found this helpful? Crystal's found it helpful. What about Michael? What about Gammy? What about Ian out there in New Zealand? Have you found this helpful? Do you understand how the system works? Do you understand why your network is so important? And do you understand how this can help you build that network so fast and help you understand how to convert leads, the leads that you will start generating if you join this program? You will have 5 hours worth of video content that explain how to convert them. You'll have guides to follow. You have a support group that you need. You'll have all of that for $297 of lifetime access with the opportunity to make passive income. Even if you recruit 2 of your friends to join this network, you'll make 100% of your investment back. Ian says, so how does the membership network, how does the members networking work? Wouldn't professionals with the same fields be competing with each other? Not necessarily. In my case, Ian, in my case, people don't work for the same company forever, right? People move around. You make connections. You have a network of people. They cross-pollinate. They leave that network. They leave that company. They'll go to another company, and that new company will be hiring. I've had so many jobs in my lifetime in a freelance capacity and in a full-time capacity, but Michael's with Ian. Let me just make sure I understand the question that you both are asking. How will all of the freelancers be a part of the same group and not directly compete? Well, it's the same question, Michael, that Crystal asked earlier. She bit off more than she could chew. She understands that there's an opportunity maybe for an individual. An individual needs a website, or they need some creative work in some capacity, and they make Crystal an offer, but she also needs a developer to work with her. Have you ever worked on a project where you needed maybe you worked on a website where you needed an illustrator, or maybe you worked on a book cover design where you needed a painter or a photographer? Have you ever asked any of your friends, hey, does anybody know a photographer? Does anybody know an illustrator? Does anybody know a programmer? I'm in need of one because I have a project that I'm working on for this client that needs that. So are other freelancers competing with each other? If they're competing for the same exact client, then of course, but likely they'll be getting leads from other networks. They'll be getting leads from outside sources outside of this group. You'll continue to do that. This platform will be leverage for you to understand how to operate your freelance business better, but it'll also expose you to new freelancers, to potentially new clients. But I hope that answers your question. Yeah. So will people in this group be competing with each other? No, not directly. There will be designers who are also in there with other designers. There will be photographers who are also in there with other designers. But like I said earlier, maybe you'll have, some of them are fashion photographers, some of them are landscape photographers, some of them are portrait photographers who do headshots for businesses. I think that there is so much work out there to go around that you will not have to worry about competition in this site. This is meant to help you. Everybody in here is here to help you out and to help themselves, to help them grow their own networks, to help them have that support group that I always lacked, that a lot of freelancers always lack. They don't have the support that they need. They don't have the positive reinforcement. That's partly what this is. But it's also an opportunity for you to meet and collaborate and grow your network bigger and get exposure. Get other people talking about how good you are. Get other people referring you to clients that they know. That's how this thing works. That's the thing. If you collaborate, you go bigger. Gammy, Nieves, that is absolutely 100% correct. Collaboration is the key to freelance success. Collaboration is it. You cannot be a solopreneur for your entire life. Eventually, especially in a creative capacity, we left our full-time jobs because we didn't have enough of that collaboration, because we didn't have enough of that variety that keeps us interested. We're creatives. We're creative freelancers. We want to be exposed to different things. This is what you get. That exposure is what you get. So Michael gets it. Gammy gets it. John gets it. So helpful. Guys, I'm so happy that you found this helpful, and I hope that you walk away at least with more confidence to go out and find the types of things that you want to work on, and you have the confidence to go out and say, I'm good enough to do this project. I'm good enough to be hired, and I know how to convert this lead, and I know how to convince them that I'm the best person for the job. If you walk away with anything, revisit this content. I hope you've taken good notes and understand that you have everything you need in your toolkit to really succeed. Ian, how personalized would the guidance be from industry specialists? I can't tell you who they are right now, but I can tell you that there are leaders in the fashion industry. There are leaders who publish design blogs. Some of them have been mentioned here. There are leaders who will be involved in this, giving guest webinars, giving guest talks. Your access to them will be through the LinkedIn portal. Your access to me will be constant. You'll have my personal email address. You'll have me to facilitate conversations through them, to ask the mentors questions, or you can post questions that they will have access to in the LinkedIn portal, in the LinkedIn conversation group. And LinkedIn's amazing. You can start discussions. You can post jobs. I'll be posting product promotions. For example, one of the companies that we're going to be working with that's going to be an offer for you guys to have a discount is with Thrive Solo, which is an invoicing management system. So if you have, Crystal, multiple companies that you're working with, like it sounds that you do, you overcommit all the time, they are a phenomenal tool for you to stay on top of your invoicing, to manage your tasks. It breaks it down into, if you have a project you're working on, you will have the ability to break it down into tasks. It'll tell you what percentage of your hours are going towards which tasks. You can record the amount of time, and then you can sync that and send a beautifully designed PDF directly to their the client if you have their email address. It's an unbelievably automated management system that costs, I mean, less than $10 a month with the deal that we've got going on with Thrive Solo. It's an unbelievably powerful invoicing platform, and it looks beautiful, absolutely stunning. So Ian, to answer your question, you're saying great, fantastic. I hope you understand. Yes, the level of collaboration and direct contact with me will be constant, and with the mentors, it'll be through me and also in the LinkedIn group. Who else has any questions? Who else is confused? Who doesn't understand? Who is excited about this? We're at the hour mark, so I'll give it about 3 more minutes for us to get our questions in, but then we're going to have to sign off and let you all go out and enjoy your Thursday nights, wherever you may be. Or hey, maybe your Friday mornings. I don't know what time it is, Ian. Isn't New Zealand about like 4 years ahead of everybody else? I don't know what time it is down there. Crystal says, wow. I hope that's a good wow. But guys, it's been a pleasure talking to you. If you have any questions, do feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Drew Palmer. I live in Philadelphia, and I am happy to help you. I've been freelancing for years and years. This platform is going to get a lot more attention. This webinar has not been released to many people yet because this is the soft launch phase. This is launching in full in the fall, and I've got all types of sponsorship deals going out. So this is going to get a lot of publicity come the fall. So if you're interested at all, and think this might be for you, I would take advantage of this first 100 offer, because think about being one of the first 100 people to be one of the core 100 members of a platform that's got tons of promotions happening on all over the world, and there's going to be thousands and thousands of people joining this network and benefiting from it. So if you're one of the first 100, you're poisoning yourself for a lifetime of passive income right into your back pocket while you continue to freelance. It's going to be an unbelievable platform, and I hope that you seriously consider becoming a part of it, because I want to connect with you. I want to help you along, but I want you to help yourself. This is the trigger you need to pull right now if you think freelancing might be the next step in your career. I've got a couple people saying they're going to look for me on LinkedIn. Having lunch out there in New Zealand. Very cool. I haven't even had dinner yet on Thursday night, Ian. You can imagine how hungry I am. So that wraps it up, guys. Thank you for joining me. We're an hour and 3 minutes on the dot in, so we went 3 minutes over. I don't want to keep you waiting. I don't want to eat up any more of your time. We had 104 people on here tonight. It's been amazing, and I already see actually we've already got 7 members rolling in right now. So the 100 is dwindling down. This webinar will be replayed for the next 24 hours. You guys should get an email link if you want to watch it again, revisit some of the content. But go to 5starfreelancers.com. Follow me on Twitter at Palmer Drew. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to respond to any messages that you send, because I want to help you out. But this is exciting to see these members rolling in. We're starting to build a real community here. So guys, if you've been thinking about it at all, now's your time. Ignacio, buenas noches, amigo. I've been to Argentina. I love it down there. Gammy, thank you. You guys are all welcome. Thank you for staying on. Thank you for contributing so much. The level of conversation was fantastic. Gammy just registered. Wow, thank you, Gammy. This is amazing. You're welcome, John. You're welcome, Ian. You're welcome, Ignacio, Michael, everybody. Thank you again. I'm going to be signing off here in about the next 30 seconds, but I'll leave the offer up. I'll leave the screen up for you to simmer on. But thank you guys so much for joining. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you all have a great evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you may be in the world. Buenas noches. Have a good night.